Welcome back to Python RPA. In today's lesson, we will review variables, credentials, and configurations. Let's get started. Let's review variables. We earlier showed how we can reference a global variable or any other one. In order for the bot to understand that this is a variable, it is necessary to surround it with double curly brackets. In this case, we refer to a variable called global var. Let's change the value of this variable with the text we get when we run the getSelectedText card. We have the assign value card for that purpose. In the variable field, we enter the name of the variable we want to change the value of. Global var in this case. We enter the new value into the value field. In this case, it will be the result of the getSelectedText card. In our case, we'll just enter the card's ID. Next, we will write the value of this variable using the enterText card. We copy the variable name into the card. And let's start the bot. As we can see, at first the original value of the variable was entered and then the new one. You can see that the getSelectedText card returns the value as an array. As in any other Python code, this value can be extracted from this array. For example, since the variable is an array, we can reference its 0 or the first element. This will return the value contained in this array. Let's run the bot. We can see the value encoding was extracted from the array. Now, just the way we extracted the value of the array in the enterText card, we can do the same in the assign value card. We simply add the array element number after the card ID. So the global var variable will receive a string from the array. Let's run the bot. As we can see, the value encoding was extracted. Aside from the global variable section, there's also a config section and the credentials section. Let's take a look at variable section first. In order to create a variable, we double-click the field in the first column and simply enter the name. Let's call it second var. And then we enter its value. The credentials section is used to store the login data, which a bot may use to log into various systems, ERP, and so on. These values will be encrypted. Once the bot is loaded into the orchestrator, they will be stored in an encrypted form. Let's create a new pair of credentials. Let's make it cred accounting. Enter the name, click on the field below, and the credential is saved. Click on the field to the right and enter the login and password in the pop-up window. Username admin, password QWERTY123. Click anywhere outside of that window and the credentials are saved. Let's use the credential we have created. Let's leave the enterText card only in the bot. Copy the name of the credential and enclose it in double curly brackets. Now we have to refer to either the username part or the password part. We enter username in quotation marks and let's run the bot. The bot enters the username. So we referred to the username part of the credential and entered it into the notepad. We can do the same with the password. Enter it in quotation marks and run the bot. The bot enters password. It is recommended to save all login and passwords in the credentials section. Now let's review the configs. They're created so that the bot may be run with specific parameters. For example, there are two configs in the section now. One is the conf default, the other one is conf non-default. If we click the second column field next to the config name, we will see the variables stored in it and a blue checkbox which shows that the config is the default one. In other words, if the variable path1 is referenced, the bot will extract the value from the default configuration. The second config also has the path variable. Since it is not identified as the default one, the bot will not reference it. It will use the default one. Let's create a new configuration. Let's call it conf third and enter some variable data into it. Path1, for example, with the value third path, and press the add button. Let's add another variable and call it date and add a date to its value. Click the add button. We set it as the default one by checking the checkbox. Now the values will be extracted by bots from here. Let's reference this variable in the card. Enter path1 in double curly brackets and run the bot. The value third path was entered. If we specify that the other configurations, the conf default configuration is the default one and run the bot, it will enter a different value, some path in this case. These configurations are also passed to the orchestrator just like credentials. If the bot is launched from the orchestrator, the administrator can choose which configuration the bot may use when it runs. Great! Let's review the lesson. Variables store various values, which can change throughout bot's execution. Credentials store login data. This data is encrypted. Configurations store various parameters which are required to run bots. Well, thank you for watching this video and come back for more lessons on Python RPA.